legislation is such that the governor should declare a state of emergency when it comes to Ohio's opiate problem?
Well, I think that we clearly are already in this kind of a state of emergency, and I think that all the elected officials statewide recognize that this is a problem. And I know that the leadership of the House and of the Senate have prioritized these bills, which is one of the reasons we were able to get a lot of what we did in the last General Assembly through. I'm unfamiliar with what it would take to have the executive declare a state of emergency. But I think that clearly this is a very important issue and not one that we can wait around on. That's why we're, I think, passionate about passing this legislation as soon as possible.
Can you go into a little bit more detail on how the Good Samaritan law would work? Is that blanket immunity for any charge? Would it matter whether the person who was calling is the person who provided the drug before he gave the overdose?
It doesn't address that. No, this is about a person who is with another, who's been using with that other person calling. It doesn't address the issue of from whence the drugs came. This is about the scenario where you've got friends using together and one is overdosing and saving the life of a friend. That's what this is about. And as I told you, we had testimony from an individual who had been in that circumstance. We also had testimony from a mom who was familiar with her child using as well with his friends and another friend dying. And this is happening over and over again. And so it doesn't address the issue that you refer to. It is about not getting in the way of the other person using, who's not overdosing, doing the right thing. We don't want to get in the way of that. And so this provides immunity for that person.
Is it blanket immunity for anything?
Yes, my understanding is yes, it is. So,
Well, if I could just add that, I think, so if you're asking, like immunity from any other crime, specifically what the Good Samaritan bill does is it provides immunity from minor drug possession. So less than a gram.
So if the person, that's what I'm trying to get at, if the person is the dealer, can that person be charged with dealing?
What the bill does is we will still be able to go after drug dealers if they have more than a gram. And they're found with more than a gram. So effectively, any drug dealer is not going to have, they're not going to be somebody that we convict for minor drug possession. They're not going to have less than a gram. That would be a user. So this legislation will still allow us to go after the drug dealers and the gangs that are distributing this product. It only allows immunity for the user, and as Representative Driehaus says, gives them the incentive to do the right thing.
So if somebody has, a friend gives another friend the drug, whether they're selling it or whether they're just giving it to them, this bill would, you can they won't.
You couldn't prosecute that person for minor drug possession.
And how big of a role do you have?
For
Can you explain a little bit more about what you're hoping to accomplish with your legislation on behavioral health department, what you're trying to protect against, and how this matches up with the
I think that the administration and the Senate and the House all share the same objectives, which is to make sure that as the car advance process occurs, it occurs in an orderly manner, in a manner in which services are not interrupted to the citizens of Ohio, in a way that providers aren't being put out of business. And so those are the elements of the guardrails that we put in place for this legislation.
You said the epidemic has not gone away. In the last year, do you think it's gotten worse?
yes. Yeah, it is. And I do want to add a little bit to what Rep. Sprague said. If you talk to the folks that are trying to treat the people with addictions, you will find that it's rather complicated and that it's just not not detox, it's just not it's all of these things together, or generally the addicts are not successful in their recovery. And so when you talk about providing access to health care, and Rep. Sprague's bills get to some of that, we're talking about the continuum of care. So it's about detox, it's about treatment, ongoing treatment, and it can be about housing and some stability for that individual. If you remove some of that or interrupt some of that, then you are likely not to succeed. And we know this because we've talked to the folks at the Cat House down in Cincinnati, who do this work every single day, and they will tell you that detox is great, but you need to have a supportive environment for the addict in order for them to succeed. And they have the stats. And if you don't do this in a serious, collective way, and on this continuum, then oftentimes you don't succeed. And so what Rep. Sprague is doing is trying to address that and not have us get in the way of it and interrupt any kind of treatment that might have a chance of success. Because if you do that, this epidemic is so pervasive and it's so difficult for the addicts to get off of the drugs that you will find that we will not succeed. And what's the point? And so you really do have to do it in a very thoughtful and strategic way. And that's why you see so many pieces of legislation that have been offered and are being offered, because this is kind of a broad approach, because it has to be. Because if you don't do it this way, then the success rate is far less. And I would refer you to the CCAT House in Cincinnati. They work with these individuals. They're a detox unit. They are very successful in what they are doing, but they do recognize that when they see somebody come back through their doors, it's because we failed in one of these other areas. And so they are now starting to talk about things just beyond their doors, but how you really treat an individual with an addiction.
This is probably for Representative Sprague. You mentioned before that the Good Samaritan bill had been introduced before, and did not pass, and I think you've introduced some other bills that haven't passed yet. Have you gotten to the point now where you're starting to meet a little bit more resistance, and some of the bills are a little bit more controversial?
Well, Jim, I introduced lots of bills that don't pass. But we've also had some success in the last General Assembly. Representative Driehaus talked about 367. We're now educating kids in K-12 education about the link between prescription drugs and heroin addiction. We set up a pilot program in 5 counties for medication-assisted treatment to see how that would work, and it's had screaming success. And we're expanding it in this budget to 20 counties. We've passed legislation that shut down doctor shopping in the state of Ohio by requiring everybody to check the order system. We prevented minors from getting a narcotic prescription without their parents knowing about it. We've made sure that hospice organizations are destroying medication and narcotic medication after somebody passes. We've done a lot of work on the continuum of care, so you get that full continuum of care that's available at the local level to help people with their drug treatment. We've bolstered our funding for drug courts. So we've done quite a bit in the last General Assembly. I don't think that we're frustrated. I think we recognize that these bills are a process. Look, the reason we have the epidemic is because we have, they're obviously, the bills are difficult. Otherwise, they would have been, this would have been done 5 years ago. We're going to have to work through the legislation and work on the language and work with the different interested parties. Absolutely, we will. But in the end, I think we'll prevail. So.
Well, and I pass even fewer bills than Representative Sprague. I embrace that. But there's another thing that we did. We have a pilot program out for pregnant moms right now, and that was something that we funded in a few counties. That has been wildly successful. At least in Hamilton County, the first step home. And I wish I had brought those stats with me. It's really, really impressive. Because when you get a pregnant woman in treatment, she generally will go full term, and the child will be healthy when the child is born. So while that was just one thing, what an important thing for us to have done as a legislature. And so each of these things is important in and of itself. And so we need to continue to work to build upon what we've done in the past, both through the budget and individual bills. And you see us just doing the work and continuing the conversation. I do think that my experience with the traveling committee was that while I'm from Cincinnati and from a very urban area, and they talk about folks coming in and applying for jobs and not being able to pass the drug test. And so as we continue to talk through these bills and about these bills in committee, I do think it's really important to recognize that we're creating an awareness amongst our colleagues as to what the problem looks like in areas outside of their own and what we need to do collectively to address it. And I think it's important to have a conversation. I mean, I introduced a lot of bills that I expect probably won't pass, but you know, the conversation's important. And this is the way people get educated about an issue and are compelled to do something. And so I think the process is important, and I think that's why we're standing here today.